Hey everyone, Grant here from Spectre Racing. So let's go through the updates we've made to the Warthog. Okay, so first thing you're going to notice is the 3D printed hubcaps. So these are a modification on a user on Thingiverse. They're meant for a Red Cat RC car, and what I did is I scaled them up. I modified the backing though, and they're really just a press fit with a little bit of double-sided tape here just to help keep them in. I probably could have engineered something a little bit better, but the press fit honestly just keeps them in nice and snug after doing at least a mile around my neighborhood. None of them have fallen out, so I consider that a win. But yeah, each one of these took about 20 hours to print, and pretty successful, and I think it comes together. They were painted with camouflage Krylon, which is like an olive. There's a color that's a little bit closer, but it's like the type of paint it is didn't seem to agree well with that type of plastic. So I actually got that off of a cosplay form, that color. So moving on, the next thing you notice is front suspension. The stock shocks on the UTV, the Mototech UTV, were pretty terrible. I found the serial number for them, and you can buy them for $22. They were the shaft was mild steel, and they were already starting to rust. So these are also pretty terrible, but they're at least some kind of aluminized steel. I don't think it's full aluminum. It should be more than $68, which is what these were. And they are quote-unquote remotes. Honestly, they just look cool. This is not a performance vehicle. My biggest thing is, will they rust? Because this will primarily be outside. So I can't have this stuff rusting that badly. The ride is actually a little bit better though. So a little bouncy, rebound still pretty terrible. But yeah. So for the backs, I still haven't sorted out the backs yet. I tried to find some motorcycle suspension. These are 240 millimeters. These are too stiff. I have on order from China a 240 millimeter, because these are actually a little too tall. 240 millimeter mountain bike shock that's fully adjustable. I'm hoping that will ride a little bit smoother, because these are 1,200 foot-pound springs, and they just don't move. So they're essentially useless. The mountain bike ones are 550, so those should be a lot softer. Okay, so back to the front here. As you can see, I got rid of the fake winch. I went with a boat winch. So this used to have a handle here, but basically I can take an impact gun to this, and if I ever need to, oh boy, well that will take a while to clean up, but I can just take an impact gun to this and winch it up like on the back of a pickup truck. I did also paint the A-arms here just to match everything, because they were that bright green to match the old bright green hubcaps. Went through and greased everything. So this thing was using mild steel bushings, which were starting to rust. I'm gonna have to go back. I did grease them up and coat them with some anti-rust, but they're gonna need to be replaced with brass eventually. So slowly replacing everything on here. You can see I have a little motorcycle fog light up here. I didn't think this would be enough, but it's pretty bright, and we'll do some driving around at night later in this video or something. I also put in the original front lights from the UTV into the housing for the Warthog. The Zoinks Warthog did have lights here, but they were really weak. These are a little bit brighter. Yeah. Okay, so moving on, you can see underneath the Warthog, there's actually Underglow. I had an Underglow kit from when I started buying stuff for drifting. Never used it. So one of the things you can't really see is I did redo the entire battery cover, all of the electronics in here. There's fuse boxes and everything. Everything's a lot better organized for future upgrades if necessary. There's also switches for everything. They're underneath here. Let's see if you can get underneath there. You kind of see there's underglow for the footwell also. You can kind of see. Yeah, there's the light. You can see it's pretty bright. The other thing I put on a switch was some taillights here. Those are not connected to the brake. The original lights that came with the UTV were connected to the brake, but everything ran on a 48 volt system, and I am no electrician, so I just wired up some 12 volt stuff. Okay, so moving on back to the interior a little bit more, you can see I did add some of the underglow lights have been put behind the dash, just like the original Zoinks Warthog. I have a little custom keychain that I 3D printed, a little Warthog. You can see here, these are the driving lights for the little lights. There they are. You see they're pretty bright. The other thing down here is it's a USB plug, and what this also does is this controls the 12 volt plug in the back. So being that I have a little cart connected right now, what I could do, and since you can kind of see it back here, is I have a 12 volt plug for a fridge, 12 volt fridge. So I have little wiring guides here and an event. I can tote a fridge around if needed with it being powered by the Warthog. Now obviously you can see back here I have my custom hitch, so I can carry. So for festivals I would bring the big cart, so I could tote a lot of stuff, fuel, gas, boxes of tools to help a friend or something. Or I can put people in here. It's 800-pound capacity. But for normal events, I would use a bike trailer. I have yet to buy that. I need to go buy it. And the bike trailer connector is like a vertical connector like you see on a rear bike chassis. All right, so lastly, some of the stuff you can't really see, I'll try and stick the camera underneath, is I went through the Warthog body itself, and I used an old RC car trick. I got shoe glue and drywall tape and laid basically the entire underside of the Warthog body to make it stronger. Because like when you're getting up and out of this thing, you usually push down here, and I didn't want this stuff to start flexing or breaking or pinching somewhere else, because the way this thing is attached is not great. It just kind of fitted on top with two bolts bolted to the old UTV frame, sorry. You can kind of see up there, get the camera, get the drill light. You can kind of see a little bit of the kind of composite layer of glue and drywall tape that have helped, that'll help give the body a little bit of rigidity. Basically what was happening is when I would put this thing on the back of my trailer, this thing would kind of flop around a lot. It still does a little bit, but it is a lot better than it was before. When you go over bumps, it does feel a lot more put together now than it did in the past. I also went through a lot of the wiring and cleaned a lot of that up. You can kind of see it still looks a bit of a mess in here, but a lot of it is the ends are kind of glued. A lot of it has been better waterproof than it was before, even from Mototech itself. One of the things I'm still kind of struggling with is the tusks. These are still kind of, they were glued on before and zip tied, and now I used some U-bolts. It still kind of looks like crap. I think I'm gonna have to 3D print some custom tusks that kind of wrap around this bar here so they don't look terrible. Obviously the carpet is still terrible. I'm gonna make a trip to one of my buddies that has a lot of good 3D scanning and 3D printing equipment. And I'm gonna scan this weird shape here. Basically this is where I had to cut off a lot of the Warthog so I could fit the UTV seat and stuff. This is a weird shape. I tried using some HVAC aluminum, like thin metal, and pounding it into shape, and it just looked worse, honestly, than even the carpet. So I think this shape here, I could scan this shape, glue on the this weird piece, so it kind of looks a little bit better, paint it with the the green paint that I have, and then make another 3D printed panel here, and that way I can put like a cup holder and maybe a little bit of storage for like a phone or whatever here. That's kind of like custom 3D printed and inserted like you would on a normal car. Beyond that, that's probably it for the Warthog. Some more improvements, obviously. Just want to get the bike trailer, and maybe a few other things here and there. Maybe improving the dash up a little here. I need to 3D print like a cover plate for the steering wheel. There's still a little bit of a gap here and some odds and ends that aren't perfect. But yeah, so we'll see if we can take it for a drive here. All right, so here's what the Warthog looks like at nighttime. See the underglow versus the headlight, footwell light, dash light. Turn off the main light. See, the headlights don't really do much. Main light really provides all light. Go for a little drive.